appears we found a new world, and just in time too. Look at this Spanish go. Well, now I can send some people for colony. Now that we've defeated their armada and became power. After all, you need some colonies to help with our growing population and economic depression. Hi, I'm Charles. I'm here as a representative of my town, Jamestown. I lived here since I was a child. I'm a gentleman, and I train at the farmer hunt.
No. If I was there, we wouldn't be alive if it weren't for me.
Yeah, those were the times.
The Anglican Church sucks. Why should royalty control church? We pilgrims came and found Plymouth from the main and though we were planning to find Virginia, it looks like God decided otherwise. Yes.
We Puritans were persecuted back in Boston, but look at us now. A charter for the good Massachusetts Bay Colony and good old Johnny W. helped found our Boston. John Smith saving Jamestown. Even after the success of the tobacco, we made some pretty dumb decisions regarding trade. And now we're the first ever royal colony, Virginia. But hey, now we have the first representative assembly called the House of Burgesses. But with the start of democratic ideas remains the undemocratic institutions of slavery and religious discrimination.
Sorry to interrupt, but this is important. In 1676, Nathaniel Bacon raised an army and conducted raids against an American Indian tribe in Virginia. Although the army did dissolve after Bacon's death, they did succeed in burning the Jamestown settlement and highlighting the differences between the classes and the colonial resistance to royal colonies.
Okay. Look at us, the first proprietary colony. Thanks to Lord Baltimore and his son. The acts of toleration really helped Protestants by giving all Christians freedom.
But for those of us who don't believe in Jesus, maybe this isn't the safest place.
The low tobacco prices have made life here harder, but we always make it through it.
The Bay Colony didn't take a liking to us and our differing views, so we had to leave to form our own colonies. Rhode Island is the first of the great New England colonies, originally known as Providence and Portsmouth.
We started out as twin basic colonies, but later became more prominent part of American culture. Rhode Island is secretly used after American Indian whites and liberal Catholics. Our beginning lied in the settlements of Hartford and New Haven, two areas founded by more Puritan dissidents. We pride ourselves on being the first colony to write up the Constitution of our own.
Although we started a part of Massachusetts, we separated to help King Charles increase royal control. We helped out the formation of the New England Confederation and even King Philip's War.
Long live King Charles II. Wow, he has blessed us with a land grant between the territories of Virginia and Spanish Florida.
The economy of our royal colony began with the first rate a focus on large rice plantations with the use of African slaves. On the other hand, developed smaller tobacco farms because of our poor harbors and transportation that resulted in less need for slaves. Work was created in order to fill the gap between New England and the Chesapeake colonies. After James II took control over New Amsterdam, consolidating his own power by forming royal colonies and Although this gave way to opposition, circumstances changed as the new governor was allowed to direct civil rights and rights to assembly. We began as a part of New York, but became our own colony with land offers, religious freedom, and even an assembly. We are a land of refuge for Quakers, and we have a great governmental system with our very own constitution.
We separated from Pennsylvania, but are ruled under the same government.
We are the last of the 13 colonies. We were created as protection for South Carolinian plantations from Spanish Florida, as well as a place for imprisoned debtors in England to get a fresh start. We had very strict restrictions on rum and slavery, but thankfully those were dropped once we became a royal colony. Cool, okay. While these new colonies are being created, the Navigation Acts were implemented to ensure that all wealth and power still remained in England. It mandated that trade to and from the colonies must go through British ships, all goods must pass through British ports, and that certain goods were only exported to England. This caused for an increase of smuggled foreign goods and low prices for crops in the colonies.
Smart, isn't it? Glad to see our expansion into the New World is working smoothly.
Ow! Okay, anyway, let's run through. First of all, the growth of population in the colonies was due to an increase in colonial births and European immigration attracted to America due to the fertile soil, the economic opportunities, and the freedom of persecution from religion and war. Okay. Now we must discuss the structure of colonial society, which is broken down into 5 parts. Each nation must have a strong central government. Each of the 13 colonies had their own governments, which were very similar. In royal colonies, the governor was elected by the king. In proprietary colonies, the proprietor chose the governor, and in Connecticut and Rhode Island, voters chose their own governor. Each legislature consisted of 2 houses. The lower house, where eligible voters, white property-owning males, had a voice, and the upper house, which was an appointed council. Some colonies also had small local governments for town meetings. In colonial homes, although women worked alongside their husbands in farms and plantations, women were viewed as inferior to men. Men had the ability to beat their wives according to British law, and women had no political or legal rights, spending most of their time at home raising the family. Discrimination and persecution of Jews, Quakers, and Catholics continued in the colonies, but new religious ideas were spreading due to the Great Awakening. This movement brought forth passionate religious speeches and the belief that colonists could practice their faiths, leading to the increase in divisions within church and the beginning of the demand for the separation of church and state. As colonies sanctioned by Britain's government, limits were placed on the manufacturing aspect of the economy in order to remove competition with that of the homelands. In turn, they grew to rely primarily on agriculture, though opportunities eventually arose for white-collar jobs. As the standard of living increased, blue-collar work remained the norm. Agriculture was limited in areas like the New England colonies due to a lack of rich soil and persistent weather, instead leaving room for new career opportunities in the future. It was certainly more lucrative in the middle colonies, which made use of indentured servants and hired laborers to keep its farms running. Meanwhile, the southern colonies utilized slaves to empower its plantations, which produced tobacco, rice, indigo, timber, and much more. Even though it was against the law to mock any government officials, Peter Zenger criticized the royal governor of New York in his newspaper. Instead of punishing Zenger for his crimes, the jury of the Zenger trial acquitted him, ignoring the law. This served as the start of an increase of boldness in the colonists in criticizing their governments. In addition, the Enlightenment was another time period which encouraged independent thinking. Philosophers like John Locke proposed ideas of using reason to solve the issues of society, such as the belief of humans' natural law and the beliefs which will eventually contribute to the justification for American Revolution.